This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Welcome, listeners. I'm your host, Dani, and I'm the first-time reader who's going through this 15-book series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host, Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's acting as my tour guide on this journey. We'd like to acknowledge and thank our executive producers, Brandy and Aaron Kirkwood, Andre the Man in White, and Chad Welsh. Before we get into things today, we just want to thank and welcome Michael Langer to the Wheel Weaves Patreon team. Thank you so much for your generosity, and we really appreciate having your support. In this episode, we're talking about chapters 35 and 36 of The Shadow Rising.
Yeah, so chapter 35, we have Sharp Lessons, and 36 is Misdirections. And I gotta say, we definitely took like a bit of a slower pace on these chapters.
Yeah, these chapters are just everyone being very confused.
A lot of confusion and like slowing it down a little bit. Like we're setting up to something here, but we're not sure what.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we're sure. I don't know.
I got some speculations, but I mean...
Yeah, okay. Okay, well, I'll start us off with a fun fact and then we'll jump into things.
Yeah, okay.
So this one is coming back to the fun facts about the Aiel, because we've learned a little bit of the connections between the Aiel and the Zulu peoples a few episodes ago. And this fun fact is based on a PBS Nature episode about the Drakensberg Mountains.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty good, actually. So there's a mountain range in South Africa that has cliffs that are described as being like the spines of a dragon. And the name of this mountain range is the Drakensberg Mountains. And their name actually means Dragon's Mountain.
Okay.
Yeah, and it gets better.
Like Dragon Mount?
Like Dragon Mount, but it gets better.
Okay.
Okay, so in South Africa, basically there's a major topographical feature called the Great Escarpment. Without getting much into like geological definitions of stuff, it's a series of mountain ranges. And the eastern portion is the portion that's called the Drakensberg Mountains, and they form a barrier from north to south, forming a border between two nations. So that's also very similar to...
Spine of the World.
The Spine of the World. Exactly. The Dragon Wall. Because it separates nations.
Okay. Yeah.
And runs north-south. And then the best part is, the highest portion of the Great Escarpment is called I'm going to give this a shot, the Ukalamba in Zulu. And it can be translated as the Barrier of the Spears.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Cool.
So like Aiel tie in there.
Yeah.
So you got all sorts of connections about Dragon Mount, Spine of the World, the Dragon Wall.
A real life mountain range.
Yeah, in South Africa. So there you go, fun fact.
That is fun.
Aha!
I like that one.
So that being said, let's talk about the Aiel.
Okay, first though, we gotta talk about what happened last time, because last time was actually exciting. And so we had Perrin going off on his rescue mission to rescue the prisoners from the White Cloaks, and it was successful, and now he's off to fight Trollocs, and the White Cloaks are pursuing him.
Yeah, like saving the two rivers.
Right. So Matt and Rand returned from Ruidian. They learned about how no one is excited about Rand being he who comes with the dawn.
Yeah.
And we got Rand's parents' story, and we're pretty sure that his mother is Tigraine, which is a huge reveal.
Yes, that was some good logic you did there.
Yes, Moraine and Avienda returned from Ruidian as well, and they didn't seem to be doing very well about it. Egwene has been attending dream school with the Wise Ones, and Nynaeve and Elaine are on their way to Tanchico with the Sea Folk.
Yeah, so we kind of get like all the connecting dots these two chapters.
We do, except, yeah. We're taking a jump away from Perrin for a little bit, it seems like.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, so chapter 35 is called Sharp Lesson. And the chapter symbol is the Aiel spears and shield?
Yeah.
Okay, so we enter in an Egwene point of view in the dream world. She is in the heart of the stone in Tyr, or at least what she remembers it looking like. She even has like Rand's sword in the ground.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Okay, why?
I don't know.
Well, that's what it looks like. That's where the sword is right now.
That's true. I guess so. I think that in my mind, she imagines the places like they are.
Okay.
But never mind. That's just wrong, probably. Now that I think about it.
Well, you've never talked about that before. That's like the first time.
No, that's just how I sort of picture it. And she's... Anyway.
So it's kind of like how the user perceives it?
Yeah, that's not right. Nobody else think that. It's wrong. I just didn't even realize that I thought that.
Well, it's good to clarify these things. So, I mean,
guess.
we know that she knows that Rand did that. She was there for that.
She was there for that.
And that's how it is in the real world.
Right.
From what we know.
Yes.
No one's stolen it.
No one's taken it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, good to clarify.
Okay. So she's meeting up with Elaine for their coffee date.
Yes.
It seems like this is the first one.
So I just have like an initial question because we're going to get into everything.
Uh-huh.
When you first read Egwene being in Teleran Riyadh, did you recall the thing that she said to Amos about like, I'm not going to go unless I get your express permission? Did you recall that at the very beginning?
Not particularly, because I know she's in dream school.
Yeah.
So
a lot may have happened.
It didn't occur to me that she's here without permission.
Okay.
Like, I thought she was here learning.
Oh, okay.
And then Elaine gets introduced, and I forgot about that because I'm interested in the Elaine discussion.
For sure.
And then I go, oh, right.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, so it didn't cross my mind that she was doing something she shouldn't be, because I thought this was just part of her.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Like, it's been a week.
Yeah, we don't know.
Training,
I don't know what she's been doing. So
yeah. Okay. So yeah, Elaine dressed like a seafolk woman.
Yeah, Gwen is surprised to see Elaine's boobs out.
She's just trying it out, see what it feels like.
With a nose ring, and yeah, it's good. But she immediately shifts her clothes, like she's super embarrassed about it.
Yeah.
My favorite rift, like I don't know what to call it, throughout this scene is Elaine not understanding how to change her clothes and her hair.
Oh yeah.
And it constantly changing. Like that, I see this playing out so well in like TV.
Just like subconsciously almost, or like I don't know what
yeah,
you
but
call
just
it,
like every time we see her, her hair's on end, or she's wearing a different dress with a different neckline, and her hair looks different. Like every time we see her.
Just fantastic.
It's so funny because she's realizing that everything she thinks happens.
Yeah.
And she can't control it.
She gotta be super careful about that.
Yeah, and at some point, Egwene is super condescending about it.
Yeah.
Oh, Elaine doesn't even know how to control her thoughts here.
It's like you could tell her. You could give her some pointers, which you do nothing of. Like, you're not helpful at all.
God, she's the worst. Come on. Okay, so we get an interesting note. Elaine and Egwene both note about feelings of being watched.
Yeah,
it's like
I want to ask.
Slight nothing.
Yeah. I was going to say, is that like a real thing, or is it a not real thing? Is it just like a funny little tidbit of information?
No, I think that it's probably a Mies.
Oh, just like watching her do this?
Yeah.
Because she totally comes in later.
Probably. Or it's like Forsaken or the Dark Friends, and it's like really bad.
Okay.
It's either Black Aja or it's just like a Mies.
Yeah, I mean, who else
Someone's watching them.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. They're not like getting the feeling of being watched for nothing.
Yeah. It's like the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. And,
yeah, for sure. I really do think it's just a Mies. I don't think it's anything worse than that.
That's fair. That's funny too.
Yeah. So then we get Elaine telling Egwene about how Tom and Julian are with them on the ship.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to remember because like all those events happen so close together. Like even Perrin doesn't know what anybody's doing or where they are.
No, Perrin for sure knows nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Elaine explains that Rand sent Julian and Moraine sent Tom, and Nynaeve is all out of sorts about Lan actually sending Julian. Like,
yeah, it was kind of like a weird.
Yeah.
Like who really sent who.
Yeah, and Egwene just thinks it's funny that Nynaeve is out of sorts.
Yeah.
Okay. So Elaine then gets the report about what's been going on with them, because they're no longer in Tyr. They went to Ruidian via portal stones. Everybody went in except for Egwene. Rand has dragon tattoos. He's the Aiel's Doom, basically.
The main guy.
He's the main guy.
Yeah.
He's summoning all the clan chiefs to that place.
Yeah, the Golden Bowl.
Yeah, we get the note about Rand's parents. And Elaine doesn't quite grasp the weight of the Rand's parents thing.
Yeah. I can get that.
And like Egwene learning about how Rand's parents aren't Tam and Carrie.
Yeah.
So
I mean, maybe there's a little bit of a detachment there.
Oh, for sure. She doesn't even know.
Yeah.
For the most part, right?
I mean,
like
Egwene's kind of seen Rand struggle with this for, some time, it seems.
Yeah.
At least she's known it's been on his mind.
Well, and it's been shocking for her to find that out, like, secondhand. That Tam isn't actually Rand's dad.
Because it's like her ex-boyfriend's parents. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and Rand hasn't been like, hey, Egwene, Tam had these fever dreams where he talked about finding me as a baby.
Yeah.
And talking about how my mother couldn't have children. So likely they're not my parents. And now I need to find out who they are. Like, they're not being coherent.
Yeah.
Egwene is just finding out all of this stuff basically on what she overhears.
Yeah.
So,
I gotta say, I appreciate that Egwene is telling all this information. Like, she's sharing, because she could totally hold a lot back.
oh yeah.
I don't know why, but she's sharing, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Communication is sometimes lacking in this series with the people.
100%.
So.
But sometimes there's like too much communication when we shouldn't be sharing everything.
Yeah. I am Randall Thor from the Two Rivers.
Yeah.
Emmons Field.
Egwene thinks that Rand is up to some secret plan, and Elaine sort of starts sticking up for Rand and his actions. Like, she thinks rulers sometimes have to sacrifice some for the good of the many, and Egwene disagrees.
Yeah, I appreciate this part of Elaine, though, because that's what we saw between her and Rand earlier in Tyr, where she was, like, giving advice. She gets the whole, you're a ruler and you can't always be the good guy.
Yep.
Like, you gotta do what you gotta do, and Egwene is not gonna get that right now.
Nope.
So...
we get Egwene telling Elaine about the Aiel channelers. We get that, no woman ever dies because of channeling through the Aiel. Like, there's no such thing as wilders. And Elaine is like, oh my god, well, the sea folk also have secret channelers. And, like, immediately she's like, I was supposed to keep that secret.
I told you, right?
Yeah,
it's
right
like immediately
away.
Gonna just ruin it.
I thought for sure she would tell Egwene like that, but...
yeah,
anyway.
But it's like Egwene didn't promise not to tell anybody specifically,
That's true.
so...
yeah.
It's just all bad, because as soon as you had the opportunity to share that secret, you did, like, immediately, so... But there is an interesting note where we do get kind of confirmation here that men who can channel in the Aiel go north to the Blight and beyond to, like, go to kill the Dark One.
Right.
So, yeah, that's kind of like back to the Tinkers when we saw that whole dream sequence, or whatever you want to call it, through the glass columns, where all the men who could channel were, like, sent off.
Yeah.
And we don't specifically know why or where
Ran
or whatever,
away,
but
or whatever.
Yeah, same idea of sending them away.
Okay. Egwene thinks about the Aes Sedai and the Oath Rod and people in, like, general Randland being quite scared of Aes Sedai, and the Aes Sedai have to move around in secret.
Yeah.
And it's not like the Sea Folk or the Aiel, with the channelers being respected in their societies.
Yeah.
Like, there's no real fear about it. They're out in the open.
They're like the leaders of the societies.
Yeah.
Like, wise ones are top of the food chain, or whatever you want to call it, and same with the sea folk. So what's gone differently?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. Yeah.
It's something to think on. Yeah.
I think that maybe in the Aiel, in each clan, right,
Sure.
they find the girls who can channel, who have the spark, and they teach them. They're sent to Ruidian. They're either becoming wise ones, or they're being taught how to not die.
Yeah.
Right? They're being taught how to use their power. And then I think for the most part, they either become a wise one, and then they're sent back to their things, or they are just sent back to their clans. Yeah. Right? And then they're channelers, but they're not scary. They're not using their power for
They're not
evil.
They're not secretive. They're not like hidden away.
Right. And then probably same with the sea folk, where I don't know what their custom is, but clearly they get to
run the ships.
Yeah. Right? Like, that's especially essential for them.
Yeah.
And in the mainland,
yeah,
they have no recruiting system.
Not that we've seen.
I've been really annoyed about.
Yeah.
Like, just now, Varen and Alana are like, maybe we should go find some. Right? And
yeah.
I mean, obviously that hasn't been working out. Women all over the place are dying. Anytime a man even remotely can channel,
they go hunt them down.
Immediately gentle. Like, it's all the Aes Sedai having power and control over, like, everyone.
Yeah, even, like, the Aes Sedai advisors are typically secretive, right? Andor is the only one that we really know that was out in the open.
That caused a pretty big fight.
It did.
People didn't like that.
So...
anyway,
yeah,
I just found that part interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of like things to think about and look back at and maybe look for going forward.
Yeah. So Elaine says that she's learning how to work weather and get better with the flows. And then she tells Egwene that they are going so fast on the ship. It's going to be 10 days from Tyr to Tanchico, and they should be there soon.
Yeah, so we kind of get a time frame on that. So we're like around day 8.
Yeah.
So they're 2 or
Which
3
makes
days
sense,
out. Yeah,
because
it does.
that's where Rand was 7 days.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. But we also get that the sea folk are stopping to talk with all the other sea folk.
Yes, we do get that.
They do think that Rand is the Coromor.
Mm-hmm.
And they're communicating something. We're not really sure what.
Yeah, so we have the Aiel and we have the sea folk both sort of accepting Rand to different extents. Obviously, the Aiel aren't fully on board with it, but they get it.
Yeah, and we get more into the Aiel side of things where it's like, yeah, he's the guy, but we don't have to like the fact that he's the guy.
Right. And so the sea folk are going to serve him because they believe him to be the Coromor, and they're stopping every passing sea folk ship on their journey to relay this news.
Yeah, and they're going to do whatever Rand says. And also the Aes Sedai serve Rand.
Exactly. Which is the best.
Yeah, well, because it's like they saw Moraine and Elaine and Nynaeve, who they think are Aes Sedai, so it's like, what problems is this going to cause?
Oh, lots.
Probably, yeah.
But I'm here for it. This is great. So we get Egwene telling Elaine not to worry if she doesn't show up for their next meeting, because this is where I get that she clearly has an agreement with Amis, I don't even know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Because she's not supposed to enter by herself, and she's clearly sneaking here tonight.
Yes.
This is the point where I go,
oh no.
Oh, Egwene, do better.
Yeah, but she's already ruined it.
Yeah, she's bad. So, at this point, Elaine looks over at Kalendor stuck in the ground and asks why Rand did that, and Egwene just says, well, to hold his place in Tyr.
Yeah. And I think this is the funniest part probably of this chapter. Just with Elaine's like, oh, are you sure it wasn't about the letters I sent him?
Oh, yeah.
Because she's under the impression that whole big earthquake craziness was Rand being pissed off because she wrote 2 letters.
I know, and no one can see me right now, but
like
I am
polar opposites.
Rolling my eyes. Like,
so
as hard as I can roll my eyes into the back of my head, because, God, Elaine.
It's so good. It's so funny that's Elaine's, like, thought process. She thought that back on the ship, too. Like, when stuff was happening.
So terrible.
Yeah, and all she's trying to do is just make Rand love her. That's all she wants. Why can't you understand?
She's doing a terrible job of it.
She is. Well, okay, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
50-50.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, just as Elaine is telling Egwene, hey, can you tell Rand I meant what I said in... ... like in the letter.
Yeah.
But which letter?
Oh, no.
Oh, no. So tell Rand I meant what I said in the... And then Egwene gets yanked out of there.
Yeah.
So fast, their conversation gets so interrupted.
Yeah.
Egwene is startled awake, and Amis is in the tent beside her. Egwene tries to tell her, you have no right to yank me around. I'm Egwene. Aes Sedai of the Green Aja.
It's like, that's not the time. This is so bad.
I picture it being so bad.
Okay, so... there's reasons. Like, I kind of understand the fact that she's trying to gain some control and find her place in the world and step into this whole, like, I'm an Aes Sedai, how would Aes Sedai act?
Mm-hmm.
But, like, the first thing, or one of the first things that Egwene promised Amis was, I'm going to take a back seat and not be an Aes Sedai. I'm a pupil. I'm a student.
Right. Which she technically is. She's not even actually an Aes Sedai. She needs to give that up in her brain.
Yeah. So it's like you think that she'd have an easier time, but like, nope, that's not happening.
She's Egwene.
Yep.
So abruptly, Egwene is seized into the air and hung upside down and blocked from Saidar.
Yeah.
She doesn't like that. She tries beating it down and
doesn't work.
She hates it. So Amis tells Egwene that she was told not to go off on her own. She was warned of the dangers, and then all of a sudden, Amis has glowing eyes, her face melts, she stretches, she gets scales, she gets sharp teeth, and then she eats Egwene.
Yeah, she does. This is so good because this is like the original Dreamception.
So Beetlejuice.
Yeah?
I can't take it. Oh, yeah.
I don't know that movie well enough.
You know, the Tim Burton creepy stretched faces.
Yep, I got that.
Sharp teeth.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I totally did that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Creepy. I don't like it.
Well, it's funny because it's like the Dreamception. You think you're out of the dream, but you're not. You're in a secondary dream.
Now Egwene wakes up for real.
Boom. Or is she?
Yes, she is.
Yeah, she is.
Amis is here to teach Egwene a lesson and blocks her from the power, but like in real life this time.
Yeah.
Not just in the dream. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little bit convoluted.
Yeah, okay. Egwene is pissed off.
Yep, that still carries over.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
very pissed off. But Amis says that sharp lessons are the best lessons.
Yeah.
Chapter title?
There you go. I like
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I like
okay.
it. I like how Egwene tries to like pull rank twice.
I know.
One on Dream Amos and then like
Yeah.
the real Amos. It's like
No.
it still doesn't work.
Nope. So Amis is saying that she's rethinking teaching Egwene, but Egwene re-promises to keep her word, but she also wants to go for her coffee dates with her friends in the dream world.
That's true. I want the best of both worlds,
I
but
want
hey,
everything I want.
really important thing that Amos says. She says that I didn't know that Aes Sedai could lie.
Oh yeah. That's bad.
That's bad.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
So how do you like-
Egwene, stop doing everything wrong.
Because Egwene gave her word and then she like didn't, so now she's under the impression, Amos is under the impression that Aes Sedai can lie. And how do you backtrack out of this? Like, oh, they can't, but I'm not actually
An
Aes Sedai.
Egwene needs to do better at everything she's trying to do.
Well, here's the thing about lying, is if you lie, you gotta just create a bigger and bigger web of more convoluted and complex lies to bury the original lie, and then everything finally, turns out okay.
Then the spider eats you.
Yeah, exactly.
The lie spider. Sounds terrible. All right, so the remedy for Egwene acting super childish
Yeah,
is she dresses like a child.
dress like a child. I actually like this. And
Do
it's-
you?
Well, it's funny because this is like from that crazy Aiel story that we got way back where they had to
Amis was like
yeah,
tied up with a doll under her arm.
exactly. It's like
Yeah.
they did that to everybody and they're doing it to her.
Yep. And not in a nice way, though.
No,
Like, she's going to braid her hair in a teeny baby girl way.
which is also
with
really important.
red ribbons.
Because that comes back
we're
later.
going to get there.
Yeah.
Because this is the bargain. So she holds her tongue and agrees. It pisses her off, though, and she thinks this isn't fair.
Rand's not treated like this.
Rand's not treated like this. And then she's like, well, I guess I wouldn't want to be in Rand's position either.
Yeah.
Like, come
It's
on.
pretty funny. I like it.
She just needs to grow a little bit.
And she's working on it.
No,
We're working on it.
No, she is not. I'm not seeing her working on anything.
Okay, here's a question. Do you have confidence that Amis can teach Egwene how to, smarten up?
If anyone can, Amis can.
Okay. Are you
Because she
confident
can,
that that's going to happen?
literally murder her in the dream world.
True, yeah.
Because that's where she literally has no idea what she's doing, so
So hopefully she gets, whipped into shape.
I would appreciate that.
Okay, I like it.
That's what she needs more than anything. Knock down a couple pegs so that she can mature and be better.
Yeah.
Because she has it in her. She has the potential. I'm just sick of seeing her like this. I'm sick of it already.
That's fair. Okay. I get that.
This isn't a character arc. It's a character straight line. Okay. So Egwene agrees to the terms, and Amis says that she will accompany Egwene to meet her friends when necessary, which seems nicer than she should be, in my opinion.
that is pretty positive.
But also the when necessary seems like a stipulation there.
That definitely does. It's on her terms, which
Yes.
again, it's, fair.
All right, so now there's women's business to discuss. So they leave the tent. The night is super cold because desert.
Yep.
And they head over to a small tent near the Wise Ones camp. It's staked low and tight down all around. Amis strips naked and Egwene does the same. They enter the tent. And Moraine, the Wise Ones, and Avienda are all in there already. And this is clearly like a sauna.
Yeah, it's a sweat lodge.
Sweat lodge. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I said. It reminds me of sweat lodge.
Yeah.
I've participated in a sweat lodge before.
That's awesome.
It's
And
very healing.
I got fun facts coming up about sweat lodges.
Do you?
Yeah, and this is, I guess, a sweat tent, but
Mhm.
same thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I was in, it's just a low tent, essentially.
Yeah.
And it was with a indigenous elder.
Yeah.
A really cool experience, except it was almost like a fire in the middle of it, keeping
Okay.
the stones hot.
Cool.
And they'd put water on it, but very wood burny, smoky also.
Yeah, neat. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That was just the one I experienced. It was really cool.
Yeah. And we'll talk about it more in the future.
Okay.
Just not now.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Avienda is the one who is throwing water on the rocks, and she is not happy about it.
Yeah, this entire sequence with her is just the worst.
She's miserable. But to be expected. She
Yeah.
really doesn't want to be here at all. So, they are to discuss Randall Thor, that chosen guy. He needs guiding, but he is not a dude who will likely accept guidance.
Yeah, so this is really, really familiar to the whole Moraine thing from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody wants to pull Rand's strings, and Rand doesn't like
want
that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So Rand doesn't know Aiel customs, so the wise ones must place someone who can whisper in his ear and pretty much spy for them.
Yep.
And it's gotta be somebody pretty and young.
Yep.
To influence him.
Makes sense.
And so they ask if he will trust Egwene, and she's like, no, he doesn't really confide in me anymore.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of interesting little tidbits of information we kind of get in this entire sequence.
I think that if Egwene started to hang out next to Rand,
yeah,
it would be less obvious than Avienda, and I think he would start to confide in her more.
Okay. I'm just thinking maybe the obvious play isn't that bad of an idea too, because then you're not being covert, you're being overt.
Nobody knows how to do that here.
Okay. But anyways, they also are hey, even
you also don't want to scare him away and literally chase him off on his own. How he took off from the Mountains of Mist and was like, I can make it to Tyr by myself.
That's true. And he ran across the continent.
What if he's like, I don't need you, and takes off across the waste and then dies in the waste?
That would be bad.
Yeah.
They do want to keep Rand alive,
yes.
But they also consider the fact that even if he does confide in Egwene, would she tell them, or is that childhood connection too close? So is she actually trustworthy?
That's fair. She's
they
not.
do bring that. So yeah, I mean, it's a big question mark.
Yeah. So Mullane argues that they shouldn't trust the Aes Sedai. They might not want what the Aiel want, but Bear says, we served the Aes Sedai before and failed them. Maybe we're meant to serve them again.
Yeah, so this is all really interesting too, because Moraine is literally right here, and they're not, secretive about talking poorly. I don't know if that's the right word.
Well, now she's been to Rhuidean, so
it's kind of she's one of them.
She's not a regular Aes Sedai.
Yeah, exactly. She's a cool Aes Sedai.
Right.
So.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, there's that weird relationship between them where they're talking poorly about Aes Sedai, but Moraine is an Aes Sedai.
And speaking of cool Aes Sedai, Rosamund Pike just won a Golden Globe.
Yay! We watched that movie too.
We did.
It was really good.
It was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Confusing. I wasn't sure who to root for, but I think that's the point.
Yeah. I really care about people.
I care a lot.
Yeah.
So we're going to put a timestamp in history right now.
There you go.
Moraine just won a Golden Globe, but not for being Moraine yet.
Not yet.
Okay, cool. So this is where Moraine says that she will help, but right now she admits that she has no influence. With Rand, he weaves the pattern to his own design.
Yeah.
So they decide that it must be Avienda who meets with Rand each morning, and to not leave his side until night, stay close, she has to be his companion, gain his trust by listening to him, and also train as a wise one at the same time.
So you got a whole bunch of tasks.
She is angry. She has a problem with this, and that's putting it lightly. She's like, yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, she hates it. Yeah. And it kind of begs the question, why does she hate it so much? I know you kind of speculated before about maybe her seeing something.
She hates all of this. She hates that she's not a maiden. She hates that she has to be a dumb wise one. She hates that she has to watch over dumb Rand, who probably has something to do with her dumb future.
Yeah. It's all bad for her.
She's not happy.
Okay.
So they tell her that she doesn't have a choice, and then Avienda says that she hates him and his stupid face. And the wise ones are like, you don't have to love him or sleep with him, you just have to listen to him.
Yeah, you're just there literally to spy.
Yeah.
And you're pretty, and he probably won't send you away.
Yeah.
So.
And so Egwene pulls the whole we're near sisters, do it for me.
Yeah.
And do it for Elaine.
And she says you're not going to be betraying Elaine.
Yeah.
What?
That is clearly not the issue here.
Egwene's making it worse.
Yeah, 100%. And she's just like, well, think of it like you're looking after Rand for Elaine.
Yeah.
And she goes, fine, I'll do it for Elaine. And
I love the wise one's reaction.
No, idiot. You'll do it because we told you to.
Yeah, it's like you are not even like in your own brain doing it for another reason.
Yeah.
You're doing it because we said so.
Yeah. And then Ami says, men always make work for women. Why would Rand be any different?
That's fair. So they got to start talking to the clan chiefs now.
They need to enjoy their schwitz.
Yeah.
So Egwene asks Moraine about Ruidian, because Moraine is sitting there all sort of quiet, staring off, not so much like Moraine.
Yeah, she hasn't like talked at all.
No.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem that way.
Yeah.
And so she just sort of stares off, and Egwene asks if it was really that bad, and Moraine says the memories fade, but the wheel weaves and such. She has decided to dedicate her life to getting Rand to the last battle, and nothing can be more important than that. Egwene thinks that she's a lump of ice and not a human, and there's nothing really new there.
Yeah, it's not new, but I feel like maybe Moraine's motivations have doubled down a little bit, because we saw her from the get-go, like way back in the Two Rivers, where she's like, my job is literally to make sure Rand survives as the Dragon Reborn.
Yeah.
But here she's saying, like, again, I will do literally whatever it takes, no matter what, because she also got to see some stuff in Ruidian, so...
Turns out.
Yeah.
Which we're never going to get to hear about.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
But it's not like she's reversed course, so that's, I mean, maybe
that's
a good
fair.
thing.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the end of that chapter.
Yeah.
We're going to jump right into chapter 36.
Let's do it.
Misdirections. The chapter symbol is the moon and stars.
Yeah, did your, like, red flag start going off immediately?
100%.
Okay.
I'm like, hell yeah.
Well, sometimes you don't pay attention, and then,
no,
like,
this
after...
I get, though. This I say, this I saw, I like this.
Okay.
I like it.
Yep.
I was ready for it. And then, partway through the chapter, I was thinking, where's Lanfear?
Did you get misdirected?
I got misdirected.
Oh, no, okay.
Anyway.
Maybe. I'm actually curious about this one.
I know you are.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we get into Rand's perspective. The Aiel are packing up the camp and heading out. We get a description of a desert. It's really hot here.
Yep.
Rand puts on a shufa around his head, and Matt
really looks like an Aiel now.
Yeah, and Matt wraps a kerchief around his, and I get flashbacks to the scarf around his head.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That. So we get a breakdown of the Aiel who are traveling with them.
Yes.
Because they're now heading away from Ruidian. They're headed out. And Matt and Rand are riding with 400 Jindo.
Yes.
With Ruark.
Yeah.
And Heron.
Yeah.
Aaron.
Hearn.
Yeah. I have no idea. It doesn't matter.
So just for the breakdown, Hearn, or however you want to pronounce it, he is the sept chief of the Jindo. Jindo are a sept of the Tardad, and Ruark is the clan chief of the entire Tardad.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So they have about 400, and there's about double that number of Shido. The sneaky Shido.
The sneaky Shido.
Yeah.
Okay. Because Couladin, dumb name, has now technically abandoned his brother, Muradin, in Ruidian.
He didn't wait the 10 days.
He didn't, because it's been 9 days.
Okay, yeah.
And when he saw the other camp packing up, they all packed up to go too.
Interesting.
Couladin seems to be in control of the Shido, sort of, because they are without a clan chief at the moment.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess him leaving is supposed to show us that he believes that Rand, to some extent, is the Dawn guy. Like,
yeah,
right?
So we get a couple weird, confusing thought processes here. So, number one, he did abandon Muradin, who is supposed to be the new Shido clan chief.
Yeah.
Couladin wants to be the clan chief. We've kind of seen that already.
Yeah.
But he's not going to be allowed to.
Nope.
And that is why there are so many Shido here, because they're supposed to be witnesses to the whole clan chief thing. So that's why there's so many more Shido than there are Jindo.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, it just sort of seems to me like he's eager to follow wherever Rand is going, because it clearly means to kill him when he gets the chance.
Yeah. And we'll get to it, but at the end of this chapter, he does kind of like vocalize that he accepts Rand as...
Nope.
No?
No, he does not.
Even though he says it?
He doesn't say it.
He kind of says it.
Nope, we'll get to it.
Okay, we'll get there.
I'm not fooled.
Yeah, okay, so we got the Jindo, and then we got the Wise Ones hedging between them and the Shido.
In between them.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got the Wise Ones, plus Egwene, Moraine, and Lan walking between the Shido and the Jindo, probably to prevent a fight.
Yeah.
even though a fight is not really allowed when
It's
leaving
super not
Ruidian,
allowed, yeah. Very, very not allowed.
Very... Just tell me how not allowed that is. Say it in Spanish.
Prohibidado.
Yeah.
No prohibidado. That's how illegal and not allowed it is.
Yeah. Dangerous and not allowed.
Yeah.
Okay. So Rand notices and comments on Egwene's braids at some point, because it's in 2 braids with red ribbons, and he thinks that's how brides wear their hair.
It's 2 Rivers custom.
That's a dumb freaking custom.
But it's funny because Bran sees it and is like, oh, okay, and then talks to her about it, but she hates the fact that he's talking because it's actually supposed to be like she's dressed as a
little
child.
Girl, not a bride.
It's terrible.
It's interesting that she didn't bring that up with Amis, where she's like, oh, where I'm from, this actually means you're ready to be a wife.
Maybe she does, we just didn't see it, right?
No, she didn't, or she wouldn't have it like that.
Why?
Because if Amis knows it's not really a punishment...
But it's Aiel custom, it's how they're perceived.
I know.
So.
I know.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Anyway, Egwene doesn't like Rand commenting on anything, and he's confused. That's the new mantra for the rest of this episode.
Yeah.
Rand
Everybody's
is confused.
confused.
Matt's confused. Everyone's confused.
Take a shot whenever someone's confused and you'll die.
Oh my god.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So clearly he's staring at Egwene, thinking about her braids again, and Aviendha notices and says, hey, Elaine is the woman for you, Rand. And Rand thinks about how annoying she's being.
Oh, Rand's very confused.
About how Aviendha hasn't left his side. And he's onto her as a spy for the Wise Ones.
Yeah, and he's not wrong about it.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
And so she thinks he's longing after Egwene. So she starts describing Elaine to him.
Yeah, like the physical features.
Is she not pretty enough? Her back, her lips, her eyes are like sapphires. Her bosom is excellent.
Have you seen her in the bath yet?
Have you seen her butt?
You should totally see that.
Super awesome looking at her naked.
So I gotta say, just before we go into that more, I also love Rand's perspective about Aviendha because he gets it right, but he gets everything wrong. Like, he gets the purpose right, but the details are all totally off.
Right.
Because he picks up that she's supposed to be a spy,
yes,
but he also thinks that the Wise Ones think that he's not supposed to see her as a spy.
Yeah.
And that he's a dumb man and will not, observe that that's a thing, but he totally does. So, it's just such a funny, comical experience with this.
And now, let me tell you what I picked up from this whole Aviendha describing Elaine situation.
Sure.
So, it seems to me like Aviendha might be a little bit into Elaine.
I can get on board with that.
She is picking up a lot about Elaine, physically.
Yeah.
So, now, I've been trying really hard to make this super obscure prediction about Aviendha and Rand getting married. I've been trying really hard to make that work because I like to make decisions and stick to them.
Yes.
And it's making less and less sense the further we go, and the more she hates him. I want to just be like, that's why you'll marry him, but it doesn't make any sense. And so I've been trying really hard to make that make sense. But here is where the prediction makes the most sense, because Aviendha is going to be super into Elaine. Elaine is clearly going to want to be with Rand, and it's a sister-wife situation.
Okay, so they're all technically married.
They're all technically married, but
Aviendha's
into
and
Elaine.
And Elaine into Rand.
Yeah, and then Min just gets to also be into Rand.
Awesome, okay.
At some point, maybe not at the same time. It makes less sense now.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, because there's that whole, the trope of, enemies become lovers or whatever.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so, I can see that too, but okay, so new theory. I like that. New
theory. It's not Aviendha falling in love with Rand. This isn't the classic romantic comedy of, oh, I hate my boss, and then you fall in love with him. Yeah. It's not like that. Yeah. I don't think.
Also, you're not supposed to date your boss. Pretty sure that's a bad idea.
Okay,
just generally speaking.
I guess it depends where you work. Yeah. But now it seems I like my new prediction a lot better. It makes way more sense.
I like your new prediction.
And it makes sense with, Aiel Custom.
Yeah, where they could get on board with that.
Yeah.
And, Elaine is, kind of curious about stuff, too, so.
Yeah.
Might be trying to figure herself out.
Sure.
I'm on board with it. I like it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, when Egwene was telling Aviendha to take care of Rand for Elaine, she tells Aviendha that Elaine says she meant what she said in the letters.
Oh, no.
Now, that's a really confusing sentence.
Yeah.
Basically, Egwene says, tell Rand. Elaine means what she says. So, Avienda's like, hey Rand, Elaine meant every word in those letters. And now he's very confused.
Even more confused.
Because the letters were so contradictory. He's like, both letters? She meant both of them? Like, she was obviously trying to say she meant what she said in, like, the first letter. Or, you know,
maybe the second, like, which
whatever.
Is,
she meant one of them.
You know, we got to see those letters.
Turns out.
Oh, also, what we have picked up on is that it doesn't seem like Rand has seen Elaine in a bath or naked yet.
Definitely not.
I just want to put that out there.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to, like, get that on the record.
He's like, blushes. He's like, oh my god, stop telling me about her bosom.
That's boobs, right?
It's boobs.
Okay.
It's boobs. So, Rand feels himself missing Min.
Yeah,
which is why I felt like I needed to bring her up, because she seems relatively uncomplicated and never made him feel stupid.
Not like Elaine and Avienda.
Yeah. And Egwene. Like, they all make him feel so dumb. He's like, oh, I miss Min.
Yeah.
So, he doesn't really give her an answer about Elaine, and he stops, like, talking to her altogether.
Yeah.
So...
That's, like, a fair strategy, too. He's, like, he's so confused. Yeah. Everything's happening. He's just like, I'm going to shut up now.
Yeah, so Avienda is going to aggressively listen to Rand.
Yeah,
like
well
she's
put.
Going to stare at him until he talks.
I'm listening. Can't you see that I'm listening?
And he's like, what are you doing? I'm listening. Do you enjoy that? And Rand looks over at Matt, who is just as confused.
Oh,
Scene
it's so
change
good.
To Matt.
To Matt being confused about the exact same thing that's happening.
It's actually pretty comical. Like, this is actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
When I was reading it, I didn't think it was that funny, but now talking about it, like, this is hilarious.
It's so ridiculous, and it's like, I feel like this is a real-life situation where you just have no idea what's happening, and your buddy also has no idea what's happening, and you just kind of have to go with it because there's no escape.
Yeah.
I get it.
Okay. So, now we're in Matt's perspective. He's doing his best to stay out of the Rand Avienda business, because it seems like a mess.
Yep, that's fair. That's a good idea.
Yeah, we get a note that Matt refused healing the night before from Moraine, which is interesting.
That was interesting. Yeah, just because, especially because the neck thing. He had that giant black welt or wheel. I don't know what they called it.
Yeah, welt or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just got hung, so it's not good. Hanged?
Hanged.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he thinks Moraine can't do anything about what ails him now, and he has no intention of telling her until he can figure it out for himself. I wish you would tell me, though, because this is too cryptic, and I don't know what he's talking about, and I want to.
I think he's just basically talking about what happened, like, in the Terangreal. Like, he doesn't want to share all that, because then he'd have to get into, like, what happened, because, you know, Maureen's not going to heal him just with no questions.
No, that's true. But he's thinking about what ails him now, and he's clearly thinking about something.
Oh, so you think something else is going on?
Something else, 100% going on. Probably with his memory, probably with this old tongue business.
Okay.
He probably remembers. I wonder if he remembers the Manetheren General stuff. Whoa.
Maybe.
My mind just blew because
okay.
He got all of his memories. I need to go back and read the words of, like, what he asked for.
Sure, yeah.
Because he wants the holes in his memories filled.
Yeah.
I wonder if that means he can, like, remember back to then, which is why now he can completely understand and speak the old tongue.
Okay. That would kind of make sense, actually.
Oh, man. It's all so complicated. And, of course, he doesn't want to tell Moraine about any of that.
That would make sense, too. Okay.
All right. It's all very cryptic, and I wish I knew more.
Okay.
That's all. So he looks over and sees Moraine and the Wise Ones watching him, and Melanie has climbed up on Moraine's horse behind her.
That's great.
And they're talking, and he tries not to be concerned about it.
Yeah, just like double riding on.
Yeah, because they're chatting.
Yeah.
Because Moraine's not getting down to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I can just imagine, like, holding onto her, like, around the belly.
They are not
skilled ride. They don't ride horses.
No, they are not comfortable on horses at all.
Yeah.
So Matt thinks about his next move, what he's going to do next, because now he's gone to Ruidian. He has the spear, the silver medallion, and ...
Ooh,
what?
Okay, what?
And what does he have? His memories?
Maybe.
His something?
And something.
He
but
has
where
something.
to now? So
Where to now? He's thinking, where can he go now? What can he do?
Yeah, because this was like the major direction that they told him.
Go to Ruidian.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, check.
did it, now
I
what?
can leave.
So, yeah.
I can leave. I don't have to stay here.
Except-
Just because Rand is he who comes with it on, I don't have to stay beside him.
Yeah.
Except we'll see if he's actually physically able to leave or if he's still tied to Rand.
Yeah, he mentions that he still has that pulling feeling
Yeah.
from Rand, so not yet, it seems.
Yeah. So it turns out that Matt has continued his charming ways.
Yeah, he's got a lady friend.
And an Aiel woman definitely likes him.
Aha, Dorinda.
Dorinda.
Yes.
She's the one who talked him into playing Maiden's Kiss in Tyr, and she's the one who collected his first forfeit.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, hey.
So he doesn't want to look at her.
Yeah, I was going to ask how far do you think it's gone with her? Because she seems quite open with Matt and her being
Yeah, I
something.
think they made out. I think that they made out with spears around his neck.
I'm just asking now because now they've been here at least like a night, maybe two.
Oh, yeah, no. I think this is probably the first time she's like getting a glimpse of him again.
Okay.
I really think nothing.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. Like, we're waiting to see which one of the boys like does it first.
Yeah, no.
Not yet?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Are you going to tell me when it happens?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, because it'll be explicit.
Will it?
I hope so.
Okay.
So we get that Ruark has been informed by some scouting maidens that there are peddlers' wagons heading in their direction.
Excellent.
And
Okay.
he does not seem happy about it. And in about 2 miles, we meet them.
Yeah, and there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's like 18
It
wagons-ish.
seems weird to
I
me.
mean, you don't just go into the waste with nothing, though.
That's fair.
Like,
Okay.
if you're making this big of a trip, you come prepared.
Sure. So the wagons come to a stop and wait for the Aiel to approach. We get who goes over to them? Matt, Rand.
Yeah, so Ruark and
Ruark.
Hearn go, and they're supposed to go alone, but then Rand comes, and then obviously Avienda comes, and then Matt comes because he's like, oh, if I can
And
leave.
then Couladin comes over.
And then Couladin comes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Matt thinks, I'll leave with the peddlers.
Yeah, if like Ruark sends them away, then I'm going with them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, right.
but that's not happening.
No, it's not happening. But the head guy, the guy I guess on the first wagon.
Yeah, the heavy dude,
Yeah,
heavy
he's a
peddler
big,
man.
fat man in a wide-brimmed hat who comes down from the lead wagon.
He's not totally fat. He's actually quite muscular.
Okay. So Matt is confused about the Aiel being so pissed off because he thought peddlers and gleemen are welcome here. And they're like, they are welcome.
You are welcome here.
Yeah.
But also, we kind of get that the reason why they're a little bit pissed off is because there's no guides with
they're
them.
just like heading around randomly this far into the waste by
They
themselves.
made it too far without finding a guide, and he doesn't know why.
And
so.
that's super sketchy.
Okay.
So Matt also asks about the Tinkers, and then Rand's like, don't ask about the Tinkers.
Touchy subject, man. It's a little too soon still.
Too soon.
Yeah.
So Rand looks over at the peddlers and says, he came into the waste. I wonder if he'll leave again.
Yeah.
And he's like laughing, and he has a twisted grin that doesn't reach his eyes.
Okay, so we got to watch the eyes here.
And his horse dances a few steps and flicks its head, which I think is also important to note.
Okay. Well, we've talked about the whole, when a smile doesn't touch Rand's eyes. It's happened a few times.
Yeah.
And he's usually going a little bit bonkers.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen here. And why is he saying he came into the waste? I wonder if he'll leave it again.
I don't know.
Because he's like talking about the main dude, Hadnan
know.
Kadir.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
that's the big guy. So.
I got nothing for you.
Okay.
Something weird's going on, though.
Something weird.
Probably some misdirections.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
So this is where they go. Meet the peddler. He doesn't appear uneasy.
Well, not totally.
Right.
Yeah.
He introduces himself as Hadnan Kadir.
Hadnan Kadir.
And
Yep.
he's seeking Cold Rock's hold.
Yeah.
But he is super far from that, and Ruark wants to know how he came so far without a guide.
Yes, and
Now,
that's why there's the whole touchiness.
I want you to tell me about this conversation. It seems like anyone who comes in gets a guide. Like,
Yeah.
how?
Okay, so here's the thing. So we know that peddlers and gleemen and tinkers are allowed. Tinkers, they kind of stay away from them. And we
Yeah.
can understand why now that we know that tinkers and Aiel are basically the same.
Yeah.
Peddlers and gleemen, as soon as they enter the waste, we also know that the Aiel are like pretty territorial. You don't come into the waste because you're just going to get murdered.
Yeah.
So as soon as someone comes into the waste, then it's very likely that some Aiel scout or troop or whatever is going to see you and become a guide for you to bring you to where you need to be. And Ruark's really pissed off because, number one, they're really far into the waste and they don't have a guide. And secondly, they're super close to Ruidian, which is literally their holy land. And if you step foot in Ruidian, then they're just going to straight up murder you at like the worst. And at best, strip you naked, take all your stuff and send you back to run back to like the Dragon Wall. So that's like the whole Ruark's a little bit like, why are you here? How'd you get here so far without a guide? What's going on?
Yeah, he says there's always guides.
Yes.
So this is super sketchy.
Yeah.
As the kids would say, sus.
Ah, yes. Uh-huh.
He's super sus.
Sus.
Is that how you say that?
I think so.
Like suspicious, right? That's
That's
thing?
from the game.
It's from the game. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, that game. That
That popular game the kids play
that the
these
kids
days.
play?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, now this guy says that he was not looking for Ruidian, but I don't 100% buy that.
Okay.
Like, why are you this far? Like, it just seems you're a little close. Like, maybe he wasn't looking for Ruidian, but I think... Okay, I'm going to have to give you some predictions later, because I'm not making coherent sense right now.
Maybe it'll make sense as we go through it.
Definitely.
Okay.
Okay, so at this point in the chapter, though, I think, yeah, fucking right.
Eject this guy from the spaceship.
You were definitely...
Gone.
Going...
To Ruidian?
To Ruidian.
Okay.
I thought he was going to, like, take a look.
Take a picture.
Yeah.
Sell it to the highest paying magazine.
Sketch a charcoal drawing.
City in the Clouds.
Yes. Okay. So Ruark says he can come with them to Cold Rock's Hold, and Couladin is like, well, I can take him. Why can't he travel with me?
Also, like, Ruark's, like, from there.
Yeah.
It's
and
like
it's
his
like,
territory.
maybe because you're not a clan chief and you're not from there.
Yeah. You don't even go here, Couladin.
Yeah. But we got Ruark with the insults because he's like, oh, did you become a clan chief? And
Yeah.
I didn't see.
Throwing shade.
Yes.
Usually you offer shade as an IO.
I was going to say,
there you
it's
go.
hard to come by in the ways.
Uh-huh.
So that's not where the Shido are from, though, right? So he's going to bring the Shido with them to camp outside of Cold Rock.
Couladin is showboating.
Okay.
He's being super arrogant. And he technically has the bigger crew of Aiel because there's like 2-to-1 ratio.
Yeah.
So in his mind, it's like, I got the bigger troop. I should be the one to guide this peddler. And he's just trying to showboat in front of Ruark.
Stupid.
Ruark puts him in his place and he's like, no, man, you're not a clan chief. And that's all it is.
Okay, but then he says, like, we're going to come with you
We're
anyway.
coming with you. Yeah, we're
That's
following.
what I'm talking about. Like, because he's not from there.
Yeah, but they're going to follow He Who Comes with the Dawn.
And then they're going to camp near Cold Rock's Hold.
Yeah, so this is why I said that Couladin is kind of accepting Rand as He Who Comes with the Dawn, because he says He Who Comes with the Dawn is important to all the Aiel, not just you guys. He's also important to the Shido, so we're going to follow where you're going with Rand, who is this guy.
Right. So I think right now Couladin is using that and saying that the Dawn guy concerns all Aiel.
Yeah.
You can't tell me what to do. I want to follow him.
Okay.
But I think when he says we will follow him too,
Sure.
I don't think that's him accepting Rand. I
Really?
think that's him saying he will physically and literally follow him so I can murder him.
Yeah. I was just kind of thinking...
And not, like, metaphorically accepting that he's this chosen one.
No, and I totally understand where you're coming from. I was just going to say, like, the counterpoint would be that the fact the Aiel don't necessarily take any clan chief as you're the ultimate ruler guy like a king.
Yeah.
They don't even necessarily have to follow their clan chiefs.
Yeah.
It's just like you should in a general sense. So...
What's your point?
He could follow Rand as the Karakarn, but not... listen to him 100%.
Oh, he's not going to listen to him at all. He's not accepting him.
Okay.
He is literally following him.
Okay.
And not like, following him.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, I get it.
Okay.
I like it.
All right. So Ruark says that they're going to stop at Imri Stand for the night. And the peddler can show his wares there, but Matt doesn't want to wait till then. He's like, I want to buy something now.
I want to buy your hat.
I want to buy a hat.
Yes.
He doesn't say your hat. He says, I want one like the peddler is wearing. He says, a gold mark for a hat like yours.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Yeah. And then, because he doesn't want to steal the guy's hat.
No,
He's like,
I wouldn't put it past Matt.
Yeah, but like...
Give me your hat.
He doesn't say that, though, so I'm not going to let you say that. But then a huskily melodious... This isn't a word
Melodious?
I can read it, and I know what it means, but I can't say melodious?
Yeah.
Okay. A nice-sounding voice.
Very nice-sounding voice.
A woman answers, done.
Yeah.
So the voice of the woman doesn't fit the appearance because it's one of the loveliest voices Matt has ever heard, but this chick has like rolls of fat on her rolls of fat. She's got coarse black hair. You can barely even see her face for all her fat.
But beautiful voice.
And I immediately think, okay, who is this? Who are these people? This is super weird. They shouldn't be here. And then I remember the chapter title and the chapter symbol.
Sure.
And then I said, what's Lanfear doing?
Okay.
This is Lanfear.
This is Lanfear.
Yes.
Literally, this one is Lanfear.
Yes. Because of her voice doesn't match the way she looks.
I like it. That's the great prediction. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
It's the only prediction, Brett.
Oh, and did you notice the color of her dress?
No.
It's pale cream.
Oh.
It's not
I don't think
white.
that matters when she's in disguise.
No?
Oh, no.
Okay. I mean, we've seen her in disguise before. Nothing to this extreme.
Yeah, but I just wonder who this guy is. Maybe not, though. Like, what do you mean not so extreme? Being Else Grinwell?
Yeah, she was
extreme?
pretty.
No, it doesn't matter if she's pretty or not. Like, changing her look completely.
Okay, yeah. I was just talking about, like,
also,
levels of prettiness.
Oh, no one has proven me wrong yet about the old woman who saves Egwene.
Yeah.
Because that
could have also been
Lanfear.
Okay. So you think that this woman is Lanfear?
Could be.
Okay.
Could be.
Is that not maybe the misdirection, though?
That's the misdirection. The misdirection is this fat lady is Lanfear.
Or is the misdirection making you think that she is, in fact, the fat lady when she could be someone else?
No, the misdirections are misdirecting Rand and Matt and the Aiel, not misdirecting me.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah. So she introduces herself as Keely.
Sure, yeah.
And she takes Kader's hat and gives it to Matt.
There you go.
And then Matt thinks that these two may be partners, but she's clearly the dominant one.
Yeah.
Which makes me go, yup.
Okay, that confirms it for you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So, because otherwise, where the hell else is Lanfear? I'm not getting the Moon and Stars chapter symbol without a Lanfear, right?
Well, Rand does mention her name at the end, so...
Yeah, she does. It's weird.
Okay.
So, we'll get to it. She asks if anyone else wants anything, like specifically Rand. Do you want anything, Rand? Hey, Rand. Do you want anything?
Okay.
And Rand shakes his head. And Matt thinks that Rand really looks like an Aiel with the shufa. Everyone is confused by these peddlers.
Very confused,
We also see that there's a Glee man traveling with them.
Off in the distance, yeah.
All of this seems so strange.
Okay.
Matt is trying to get Rand to, have a conversation with him about what they just saw. And Matt says, oh, isn't that strange that they're fighting over the honor of escorting peddlers somewhere? And Avienda gets super annoyed and aggressively explains things to the boys.
Yeah.
That Couladin is trying to behave like a clan chief, and Ruark can't allow that to happen. And she says that the Shidos deserve a true clan chief.
Yeah, because Muradin was going in there to get tested, and he failed, and
should they have stayed there and sent someone else in? What's the protocol?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. What we know is that they should have waited at least another, 2 days to see if Muradin would come out. I mean, we kind of know that he's not, but they don't know that for sure, except they think that Rand murdered him in there. So, I mean, Couladin was saying that I'm going to go, but they probably would have had someone else go that the wise ones would
So they technically should have stayed to get a new clan chief.
Oh, 100%.
But they didn't.
They didn't.
Okay.
They chose not to. So now they're just clan chiefless.
And Couladin is acting clan chief.
Except that's not really a thing you're allowed to do.
No one's giving him his title, and he just took it.
You're also not allowed to do that,
If I go sit at the manager's desk and the manager doesn't come in...
Only if the wise ones let you do that.
Right, okay.
The CEO. Okay.
Robert California would let him do it.
Oh, yeah, 100% he would, yeah. Okay.
So Rand comments, his eyes, a dangerous man, not Couladin, but Kader, not what he seems. He's not what he seems. That's what he says. And Matt's like, okay there, buddy.
Yeah, okay. So, a couple things I gotta point out here. Keely, or the one that you think is Lanfear, pushes the Gleeman up into her own wagon, so they, go in together. and Kadir, because Matt thought that Kadir and Keely were like together maybe, but not really sure. Doesn't seem like they might be.
It seems like they're traveling together.
Yeah, and Matt speculated that they are, but
I think he's probably some other Forsaken.
The Gleeman or Kadir?
Kadir.
Okay, because why is Rand pinpointing the eyes of Kadir, and why wouldn't he like pick up the whole Lanfear vibe? I mean,
because he wasn't paying attention to her. She was just like a fat lady.
Okay, you think
he was looking at the eyes of the man who was talking to the Aiel.
Gotcha.
He thinks he's being perceptive, but he's not being perceptive.
Not enough. Okay, so is Rand right, or is he crazy, or is he both? He's kind of acting a little bit crazy. Oh, he's definitely
both.
Okay.
I think he's right. I think that he is a dangerous man. I think that Robert Jordan likes to do something interesting when we're in the perspective of somebody, and that somebody thinks something is for sure.
Okay.
But it's from their perspective, right?
Yeah, so he could be wrong.
But it's an interesting way to narrate and have the reader think this is a for sure thing that's happening.
So is that the misdirection?
It's all misdirection. Everything you've ever read in these books, every sentence is a misdirection. God. So the issue is with Rand saying he's a dangerous man, it almost makes it canon that this man is dangerous.
Yeah.
Whereas that's just Rand's perspective of this situation and not, in fact.
So in actuality, who should Rand look out for? Kadir, the woman, or this? Like, would the Gleeman be in this picture too?
Yep.
Those are the three characters we've kind of gotten here.
Yep.
Who are the dangerous ones?
Yep.
All three of them?
Oh my god, all of them.
Okay. So they're all in cahoots.
Every single one who's traveling.
There's 18 wagons here.
Yep.
Okay, because also Rand's like, we're traveling with evil now.
Oh, he does say that.
He literally says it.
He says, Matt, you can't see it or feel it, but we ride with evil now. Watch yourself.
Yeah.
Plus,
so he seems to think.
Rand says, we mustn't forget about Lanfear. And Matt's like, okay.
Rand's doing great. Yeah.
So I'm wondering about it all. None of it makes a lot of sense.
But all evil. I mean, we've kind of speculated about that where we've seen crews that are not entirely bad guys necessarily, where it's like a hidden one or two bad guys, but you're thinking like this whole troop, everybody's bad guy?
Probably.
Okay.
It seems super sketchy, like I said.
Yeah.
Sus.
Okay.
So Rand thinks that something has begun. There's no turning back now, and Matt is confused.
Yeah, as per the entire concept of these chapters, everyone's confused.
So I wish we could have been in Rand's perspective, but every time Rand goes a little bit crazy, I guess when we're in Rand's perspectives, we get his like intrusive thoughts. He gets a lot of thoughts about how he's coming across, what he wants to do, what he knows he has to do versus what he thinks that he could do. Like, there's a lot of things. He goes round and round in his head.
Yeah, very much so.
And so I'm sort of wondering the types of thoughts he has when he says weird things like this.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see it from his perspective for sure, but I guess not. So.
Or crazy.
Yeah, that too. Okay, so we really got like teed up here in these two chapters?
Yeah, I'm hoping that we amp up. I know the next two chapters are very long. We got over 40 pages.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So I got some reading to do. We got some breaking down to do.
It's a lot, but we'll come back to it, and hopefully it's for exciting reasons.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. The Wheel Weaves is hosted by Dani and Brett, edited by Dani, produced by Dani and Brett, with Passion Socks, Mozime, Moltude, Benjamin, Vince Lewick, Michelle O'Brien, Sarah Wyatt, Jamie Young, Cody Fouts, and Giannis. With music by Audionautics.com. If you're interested in some of our Wheel Weaves merchandise, such as shot glasses, frosty mugs, t-shirts, hats, and more, you can head over to newcreationsbyjen.com, and we are located in the groups or collections section. If you're interested in supporting us and helping us to make really great content, you can head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast, and you'll also get access to some really great bonus content like early access to our regular episodes, bonus episodes, unedited video episodes, access to our live recordings, monthly Q&As, and more like stickers and keychains. Don't forget to find us on social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at The Wheel Weaves Podcast. We'd also love for you to join the conversation over at our Discord, and you can find the link to that in our bios on those social medias. We'd love for you to tell a friend about us. Referrals really are the best compliment. We'd love for you to leave a review and subscribe. That really does make a huge difference. Thanks so much again for listening. This really is part of the pattern now.